Tuesday, February 4th, 2020 Eden Prairie City Council meeting is now called to order. Please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Just a brief announcement about an open podium invitation. Open podium is an opportunity for Eden Prairie residents to address the City Council on issues related to Eden Prairie City government prior to each council meeting, typically which are held the first and third Tuesday of each month from 6:30 to 6:55 in the council chamber is the open podium time. If you wish to speak at open podium, please contact the city manager's office at 952-949-8412 by noon of the meeting date with your name, phone number, and subject matter so that we can be more prepared for you. If time permits, after scheduled speakers are finished, the mayor will open the floor to unscheduled speakers. Open podium is not recorded or televised. If you have questions about open podium, please contact the city manager's office. Mr. Getcho, we have a couple proclamations this evening.
We do, Mayor. I'll turn this over to Mr. Lodhammer for 2 donations.
Actually, I should have said a resolution proclamation, but yes, go ahead.
Your Honor, council members, this first donation is from Elam Shores to the Senior Center. It's actually split amongst 3 different events. They wanted to help with the funding of all 3, the shredding event, our summer barbecue, and also the Senior Golf Classic. So Elam Shores has always been a good partner with us, and they work very cooperatively. So we appreciate their contribution.
Great. Any questions? Is there a motion?
I would move to adopt the resolution accepting the donation of $350 from Elam Shores for the Senior Center special events of shredding event, summer barbecue, and golf classic.
Second that.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed?
This is very similar from the Home Instead Senior Care, $400, and they also want to contribute to offset the costs of those 3 programs. Again, the shredding event, golf classic, and substituting out, they want the veterans breakfast. So we appreciate their work with us and also the willingness to contribute. Usually if you come to these events, they're also present and able to help our seniors, whether it's with questions about the services they provide. So it's a good relationship, not just a cash donation, but also a in-person, in-kind scenario too. So we appreciate their donation.
Great. Any questions or comments? Is there a motion?
I move to adopt the resolution accepting the donation of $400 from Home Instead Senior Care for the Senior Center special events for shredding event, golf classic, and veterans breakfast.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We say this every time, and I'll continue to say it every meeting, that taxes only go so far. We appreciate so much all the donations. It really helps to enhance and supplement what we do with our tax dollars. So we deeply are thankful for all the donations. All right. Any items before we actually move for a motion that you wish to add to the agenda this evening? Okay, is there a motion for approval of the agenda?
I'll move to approve the agenda.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed. All right. Any questions you have of either of the minutes? And I did have, I know what it was. I was reading through them because I was not at the last meeting, and I was looking just to see everything that had happened. And I believe it had me as adjourning the meeting, and I wasn't there. So a small, picky little fix, but otherwise, any other corrections of any sort? Can I have a motion to approve both of them?
Move to approve the following city council minutes. Council workshop held Tuesday, January 21st, 2020, and city council meeting held Tuesday, January 21st, 2020.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor of approval say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right. Consent calendar. Any items you wish to question, pull temporarily? If not, is there a motion for approval?
Move approval of items A through H on the consent calendar.
Is there a second?
Second.
Any further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? We have no public hearings this evening, which is not real common these days. So moving ahead to ordinances and resolutions, Mr. Getchell.
Thank you, Mayor and Council Member. Mayor, I believe you were contacted by the Minnesota River Congress, and that is a citizen-led group that's focusing on an initiative for the Minnesota River Basin and managing water flows and increased water storage and strategies in and around the Minnesota River throughout the state of Minnesota. So what they had asked of the city was that we simply pass a resolution of support with their efforts at the state and federal level to secure, whether it be funding or land, for managing water flows on the Minnesota River Basin and looking for ways to increase storage. So it's simply a resolution of support. And then, Mayor, I think when you forwarded on to me the request that they had, I forwarded that on to Public Works and Engineering, and they were supportive of the effort as well and didn't see any concerns at all from the city's perspective of this kind of statewide,
Great.
or I should say, wherever the Minnesota River Basin extends, which is a big chunk of the state of Minnesota.
Council, any thing you want to question with that? Anything you'd like to add? It seems pretty straightforward, but I don't want to miss anything that you might have caught. Okay, then is there a motion to adopt the resolution?
Move to adopt the resolution supporting managing water flows in the Minnesota River Basin through increased water storage and other strategies and practices.
Is there a second?
Second.
Further discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
I missed payment of claims. If we could go back to that. Are there any items that on the claims that any council member wants to question? If not, could I have a motion?
I move the approval of payment of claim as submitted.
Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote.
Councilmember Aho,
Aye.
Councilmember Freiberg,
Aye.
Councilman Ryan,
Aye.
Councilmember Nelson,
Aye.
Mayor Case.
Aye. All right. We are moving down to reports of council members. And I had asked at the first meeting in January and then overlooked it to have each of the five of us come to that meeting, but now this meeting, prepared to share several items. I said three. You don't have to stick to that. A couple that you are passionate about in 2020, such that you'd really like the public, staff, and each of us, the rest of the people on the council, just to know these are things that you're deeply interested in. And it helps us, I think, to understand comments you make going on forward the rest of the year, initiatives that you bring forward, just to know where your head is basically at with what you're interested and excited about and passionate about. So with that in mind, if you're okay, I think I'll just go down the line. Are you prepared, Councilmember Freiberg? Is that fine if you start? And we'll take notes, we'll get it in the minutes, and it's things that mean a lot to you and you'd like to share it with us.
Thank you, Mayor. There's three things that I'd like to expand upon this year. And the first one I think is important because we've had a great start on it, but there's a lot of work to be done on it. And that's in the area of workforce housing. We have set up this last year a task force. We've gotten some good ideas, but I never want to see the pressure off on it until we do solve it with a really good plan. Second thing that I'd like to keep open-minded about as far as my colleagues is now with light rail coming through and a very, very high volume shields, so that we continue to look at redefining our downtown. We're losing an awful lot of entertainment dollars to other cities, and I think there's an opportunity as we put our heads together that there's something that can be said in redefining what is the downtown of Eden Prairie. And there's a third one. I believe that there's a portion of our residents, lower income, that needs some help. I've heard some things over this last year about children going hungry, seniors going hungry. And in the city of Eden Prairie, I don't know if that's what we're about. I think we need to do more and find ways of helping people with the underlying aspect, no one goes to bed hungry. Thank you.
Thank you. Those are powerful ideas. Appreciate that. Councilmember Nelson.
First one on my list too is housing, and we have a commission looking for a plan, but this year I'd like to get that plan, and then the council starting to discuss how we're going to get it within 10 years and start executing that plan. Second is conservation and waste, energy savings to continue. Organic waste recycling we have to have by 2022, and I'd like to get working on it now so we're one of the first people instead of one of the last people doing it. I'd also like to get out some things that are expected out of some commercial and large housing projects with electric charging stations and making it easy so new people, new houses, if they want to add it, the basics are already there. So starting, not putting something in the way of people who want to do it. And last is LRT. Make sure that as it's building, Eden Prairie gets as much as we can out of LRT, and make sure it's working the way we want it to work here.
Again, really good ideas. Thank you so much. And we're going to have a lot of common threads probably to a lot of our ideas, which just shows that the five of us are deeply involved in what's going on in this city. Councilmember Aho, why don't you go next? I'll go last, and we'll go on down.
All right, sounds good. Thank you. So one of the things that I think we've got a fairly good start at is our business community. I think it's really important for us as a city to be engaged with our business partners in the city. We've got a lot of large companies and organizations that employ a lot of people in our city and beyond our city. As we realize, we have many people that travel to our city to work, almost as many as actually live here. And so I think it's really important for us to be engaged with that community, and we've gotten off to a good start. I know Mayor Case and I have been on quite a number of meetings with meet and greets with some of our larger employers, and I'd like to continue that. I think also I'm interested in looking at an incubator space, and I know we've talked about that in the past, and I'd like to continue to look at that and see what that might be. Second issue, transportation. Surprise, I'm sure all of you that I'm interested in transportation, but I think with being chair of Southwest Transit, we're really focused on how do we, as a organization, Southwest Transit, and as a city, when we get Southwest LRT into Eden Prairie, how are people going to make that last mile trip to their place of work, to their shopping destination, whatever it is that they're going to do in our city? And I don't think Southwest LRT will be successful at all if you bring people to the city and you say, okay, here you are, you're at the station, and now you have to go maybe 3/4 of a mile or a half a mile to your job, and it's January, February, March. You're just not going to want to walk that. And so we have to make sure that we're providing a valuable linkage between that station and that final destination. And I think we've got some great plans at Southwest Transit, but I think we really need to partner as a city with Southwest Transit. And we've done some talking about that, but things like autonomous vehicles primarily in the Golden Triangle area, things like that. Another thing is Prime MD. We've started the Prime MD service at Southwest Transit, and I think we need to, as a city, help to promote that. So the people that are really in need of those services, like our senior population, people that are maybe just disabled, that just don't have a good way to get to their health appointments and things like that. Prime MD is really key to helping those people, and we need to make sure that those people find out about it. And I think we as a city can be a catalyst and help promote that and get the word out to those populations to help them take advantage of that great service. Third and last item that I want to talk about tonight is cybersecurity. with all the news and all the goings on in the environment today with hacking and ransomware and all the different types of cyber attacks, a lot of them now are being focused on public organizations like cities, like police departments, like fire departments, and I know we've had some minor discussions about that in workshops and other things, but I think I'd really, with two of us now, with PG, Councilmember Narayan and I both having that cybersecurity background, I think it would really be a good time for us to maybe take a little bit more in-depth review of what are our business continuance plans for the city, what are our security measures that we've got in place, and how are we protecting that public data, because we have to protect the data not only from just being stolen or ransomed, but also we have to keep our operations going. And so we should really look at that, make sure that we're using all the latest tools and techniques, and that we're well protected, and we're taking that seriously.
We have one more, and then I'll go in just a moment. I just want to underscore, I'm just so impressed with each person's perspective. We have 5 council members up here that love this city and care so much about Eden Prairie, but we bring our wonderful strength sets that are so diverse and so really rich with experience, and it's just so reflected. I'm just very impressed. Councilmember Narayan.
Thank you, Mayor. Being almost the last one to speak, there's not too many new items, but I want to really emphasize before the goal is to maintain our current city status before we take on new goals. So what is that? We have AAA rating, we have great police department, we have an awesome park and rec department. We have an awesome city. We have a very great survey result. So to me, maintaining that is number one. So almost we have to do is train running at 60 miles per hour, and top of it, we ask Rick, our city manager, to take the new 3 or 4 or 5 goals. So I just want to make that basic assumption. Now going to the goal, I think to me is one of the biggest one is environment. I'm worried about environment in general. That means carbon emission. We talk about solar energy. We already have a goal of 2050 eliminating all the carbon products. Renewable energy, I think Kathy talked about recycling. It's all part of the environment aspect. Enabling electric vehicle. So not to remove the carbon, we had to have the charging station. We had to have influence the builders to build more charging station in the house or the building in the parking lot, and the removal of the trees is a part of it. Water, it's all part of environment aspect. So to all that, it's not one thing to me, it's all together. It's an important aspect that we need to worry about next few years. That's one. The second one, I think, is small, medium business. Today, a few of us were in the AM Rotary, and one of the small business presented was Fat Pan Brewery here. And it's amazing, Elizabeth was saying today, that said how much the city helped to make that happen, how much the staff spent time, and she was saying an example, there is some legal thing that she had to get an approval, typically take 180 days, and Dean Phillips helped there and get done in 2 days, right? And the city staff and chambers, all together is everybody together, working together, making a new business coming to our town. And that's type of initiative I think we have to continue doing it. More small businesses coming in and enriching our environment. And the last one is seniors. I really think this is a concern Minnesota-wide and Eden Prairie same. There are a lot of people are aging, and we need to focus what are the things we need for seniors. And that include the affordable housing, that include the transportation. But I'm looking in a, rather than just saying, let's do transportation, I want to look at senior housing, seniors, and how they get to from their house to light rail, or how they get from there to the shopping or the mall or other places, and think about seniors as a whole. That's three priority, I think, that we should focus. Some of them are different from other ones, so consolidated will be a great one, I think.
No, excellent again. My right, my left, I'm so impressed. Just overarching thought that these are not specific goals. Staff can relax a little bit. We're not sending you off to change your work plan or to add to your work stream. These are the interests and the passions that we each hold that will be ideally reflected out in everything that we say and discuss across this year. My three are not a surprise likely to anyone. Climate Action Initiative, I'm just so excited about how that's emerging and evolving. And I believe in almost every meet and greet with businesses, the topic of solar arrays up on the rooftops is coming up. We're talking about that with residents. We're seeing that more and more with our initiatives with changing over our fleet here with our Eden Prairie municipal fleet to all electric battery. Every conference I go to, the technology on that is just exploding. The battery capacity. I read the other day that gasoline engines efficiency are improving at 3% a year, and I think electric cars, what did I read? 200%, something massively huge. That's where the investment money is. That's what's exploding. When I would mention in some of my conferences that, we want to have all of our dump trucks be electric by 2030, and there aren't any such things today. Everybody's like, well, there will be. I mean, there will be. Everything's moving so fast. So I'm super excited about that and pumped. Like several of you, the Affordable Housing Initiative, which at least is getting us baseline information. Now the hard work's going to begin where we have to decide what to do with it. And several of you mentioned the making it actionable and substantive, and I couldn't agree more. And that's going to be the tough one. There may, sometimes there's a budget incentive, pieces that city has to be involved with. We'll leave the hard work a little bit for tomorrow, but not too many tomorrows into the future. That's coming fast. And the third one, almost every other day, something comes out with this, and it ties right into a lot of the business things you just talked about, both of you really. But there's an entrepreneurship initiative that's taking place right now in the city that I've been part of, and will bring back and get the council fully engaged very soon. I would say one of the next few meetings, it's probably time to have a big talk with all of you and also bring in the partners. But basically, it's ideas that have come out of the Kauffman Foundation, where initially I brought back an idea of trying to get an EDA grant. We've gone that route. It's not probably going to work out. But in the meantime, in pulling together partners, the partners have become so excited. What we're looking at is to put together an ecosystem economic development space. The high school is very excited. I'm not going to give too much away. I'm going to let them give away what they are doing. But basically, there's going to be a space at the high school that could be used during the daytime by students, transition in the afternoons and evenings into the community. We don't know yet what it's going to look like inside it. It's definitely going to be a potential financial partnership between the school district and the city. Chamber of Commerce has been at every meeting. They are very involved. Million Cups is involved. We hope to get Hennepin Tech involved. It's just, well, you can tell I'm excited, and Rick's been part of it too, but it's just a very exciting initiative. It's coming online. We believe by this fall we'll have something. So we will have a space, maybe not the classic incubator co-location, but it will have, we don't know yet, but it will have pieces of that. And just as an example, I was, I believe I can talk about just visiting a site visit this week and the possibility, I'll just say that, visited a business, had a site visit, talked about the possible donation of equipment that could be in this space that would actually benefit then entrepreneurs that are coming in and utilizing that space. So just a super exciting, I believe from everything I've seen and read, we're going to be one of the first communities maybe in the state, but to have this type of a ecosystem economic development space that will build out and strengthen our ecosystem, concentrating on entrepreneurs, particularly according to the Kaufman Foundation, looking at underserved populations of women, youth, and diverse populations. And we have a great representation within our city to assist in those areas. So those are the three that I'm very excited about. I'm very excited about all of yours. I have the list. I'm sure it got into the minutes. It would be great, not as a goal, not as a work stream, but just to list them out and to have that shared with all of us. I think that would be wonderful. Any questions that any of you have that this brought up, or you want to make any comments? I'll ask staff in a moment too. But Council, anything that?
I'm just going to say this made the task that you gave to us made me to think, right? Otherwise, it said what is important to me, what is important to the city. And I think this exercise was good to make us think, and like you said, there are so many common themes here intertwined.
There's common themes and there's differences, and I like that because there's a strength in a council when each of us come from a different perspective slightly. We all love the city, but we have different passions that we bring forward, and that makes for a very strong council. So
I've got to say, I also like the city's sidewalk initiative that they brought up, and keeping everything accessible, but also looking good, especially in business districts, because that helps businesses do better if the area that they're in looks prosperous.
You had your
So-
3 items. Is that a fourth?
Okay.
No, I'm kidding.
I'll shut up.
No, please don't. No, I'm completely
No,
teasing you.
it
No,
did
that's
occur to me
correct.
that
Yeah.
they had brought that to us, and I
Definitely.
appreciate that.
No, totally. And anyone else, you can add another one. You can have a fifth. Anybody else want to add anything?
No, I just say that I think they're all great ideas, and it is, I agree with you wholeheartedly that I think it's great that our council has a diversity of ideas and that we can bring them all together. And I think there's a lot of synergy between a lot of the ideas that we share, and that I think they'll work well together.
And I will say, I have such great pride, and I know you experience this too, Mr. Getchell, when you go to your city manager meetings, but when I go to the mayor meetings, and there are, and knock on wood, I guess we could experience things ongoing, but there are many cities experiencing a lot today that we are not. We have tremendous positivity here. We have really a resident group of people that I'm finding are quite pleased, at least in all of our surveys, with what's going on. There's positivity in our economic environment right now, and tremendous, all the cranes out in the city. There's just a lot of positivity going on in Eden Prairie, and it's really exciting for me to be mayor. I'm sure it's exciting for all of us to be leading the city during this time. And I guess the goal that even PG said, let's just make sure we maintain that. Let's keep that going, and then we'll add to that as we go along. All right, anything else to bring before the council I was going to give a chance in case staff wanted to say something.
Mayor, Council, I think almost each and every item that you brought up is probably somewhere located in a city work plan. I think a lot of it has to do with either maintaining, taking something to the next level, adding something, having a new twist. So you made the aside that you don't want to add to our workload, but I think most of what everybody said is really a part of what we're doing now and will
Yes.
continue to do.
Good.
So
Great.
we're very comfortable.
All right, if there's nothing else to come before the council, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
Move to adjourn the city council meeting.
Is there a second?
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. This meeting is adjourned.